What's it? What'd you say to me? What'd you fucking say to me? This sounds like fucking fight talk to me. This sounds like fucking fight talk to me. Huh? This sounds like fight talk to me.
Fight Talk with Bill.
Kia ora koutou, guys, and welcome to the latest episode of Fight Talk with Bill. I'm your host, Bill, and today we're going to be talking all things UFC and MMA with a big focus on the upcoming pay-per-view event in Las Vegas, UFC 290. Right, but before we get there, let's have a bit of a recap of everything that's been going on since the last time we caught up before UFC 289. We had Charles Oliveira completely blow away Canada and the rest of the world by doing exactly what no one thought he would do. Finally learn English.
Hello Vancouver! Hello Canada! Hi!
Let's fight! Let's go! Woo! We then had Cannonier break the middleweight significant strike record, as well as break his hands against Marvin Vettori's absolute brick of a head. Ilia Topuria put the whole featherweight division on notice with his very lopsided victory over Josh Emmett. Not to brag, but I put $5 on Ilia Topuria to win by decision. Yes, that was paying out at $10, a whopping $10. So that's big money, baby. That put me 2.5% back towards finally breaking even. So yeah, we're pretty much all in the green from here. Kevin Lee made a great return to the octagon. Rip. And then there was also a huge super fight announced between the current middleweight champ Israel the Last Stylebender Adesanya and the current heavyweight champ Johnny Bones Jones. It then quickly went down. Yeah, bit of a disappointment. I think it was a bit too much hype, and you're always going to get that. But, you know, what are you going to do? All right, now let's move on to the analysis and breakdown. I say analysis. Just my picks for UFC 290. Moving on to the main card for UFC 290, we will kick it off with the main event. This is a unification bout for the featherweight title between Alexander the Great Volkanovski and Yair Alpantera Rodriguez. Pretty interesting fight. Volk said it very well that Yair is not the most dangerous, not the toughest fight he's ever going to have, but he is one of, if not the most dangerous. I think Volk's way forward is he's going to have to really push and pressure and suffocate his kicks with the constant pressure. He's got to get Rodriguez up against the cage. Volk does some of his best work up against the cage, as we've seen in the past. I think if it does go to the ground, Volk will be safe on top of Yair. Relatively safe. I know his last win came from on his back, but he had Emmett really hurt. And Volk is very good at getting on top and doing ground and pound. He kind of posts on top of him whilst using a perfect range where he's not deep inside the guard, but he's not right outside. He just finds a perfect balance where he can strike, but stay safe. I think that's going to be his safest way forward. If I was it would be wise to use leg kicks early, slow down the movement, and then move very laterally, as Volkanovski has the ability to close the distance ridiculously quickly, and with leg kicks is going to be the best way to slow that down. In saying that, I'm thinking Volk will either win by decision or a late round stoppage. Unlike my usual videos, I've already made my bets for this week. I just couldn't help myself, had to get in there early. I do have Volk by points as one leg on a 3-leg parlay multi. Sorry, it's called parlay, forgive me guys. So yeah, that's what I'm predicting. As we know, I'm usually wrong, but I have been going well lately. I think this is the change of the times. But moving on to the co-main event, which is the flyweight title belt between Brandon Moreno and Alexandre the Cannibal Pantoja. Very, I think this is low-key going to be a ridiculously exciting fight. I'm actually a huge fan of flyweight fights. They're always so ridiculously fast-paced. The grappling's like so quick. It's just crazy exciting. So this is going to be a big one. What I was most surprised about this was the line, with Pantoja coming in at 259. As we can see, this really shocked me. Like, I know Moreno has looked very, very good and has showed significant improvement from fight to fight over the past few years, and showed against Kai Kara France that improvement wasn't just against Figgy, Davison Figueiredo. However, like, he has had 2 losses to Pantoja, and they've both, he's improved a lot since then, but so has Pantoja. And Pantoja submitted him in the first fight. That was during the Ultimate Fighter, during the flyweight season, and then he also took him to a decision much later that actually saw Brandon Moreno get cut from the UFC after that. But in that fight where he won by decision, he kind of really beat the shit out of him. So, like, I gun to my head, I'd probably still go Moreno, but like, I do not think Pantoja should be that much of an underdog, and for that reason, I put a couple bets down on Pantoja. I've taken him at KO submission, paying $4.10, which I think is ridiculously good, to be honest. And then I've also just taken the money line on him for $2.59. Here we go. So that's this one here. But yeah, I just think it's paying really well for a guy that's beat him twice and has looked very, very dangerous in his past few fights, finishing them early. Alright, that's my pick for that one. So that's my underdog of the card that I'm really gunning for. We'll see who's laughing come Sunday afternoon. Moving on, we have the UFC's most African fighter himself, Dricus du Plessis, taking on Australia's own Bobby Knuckles, Robert the Reaper Whittaker. Dricus fights are very, very entertaining to watch for a number of reasons. I went back and watched a few. Entertaining for like the brawling and stuff, obviously, but entertaining as like he's just kind of this disaster, flailing about, falling over, and then he somehow just still wins. He just somehow just seems to be mouth open, falling over, doing ridiculous technique, pushing his punches out, but he still wins. It's insane, but it's amazing. He has cited the mouth breathing is due to him having no oxygen through one nostril and only 8% through the other, and he has the surgery, and now he's got 100%, so he's going to be amazing and stuff like that. I'm a bit dubious. Every fighter always says that all of their fights they were injured and now they're coming in feeling the best, but then after the fight they say, oh, I was injured, now I'm better. So I'm not sure. And even if he is looking a lot better as a result of the nose surgery, Bobby Knuckles is very, very good. I think he's going to be landing a lot of that 1-2 right kick combo that he's so well known for. I've got Bobby Knuckles by either decision or late round or a finish in the second or third round. I think Bobby's will be smart, kind of start slow, and then when Dricus inevitably gasses, he'll then start to accumulate those shots. I have him as one leg of my parlay to win by KO or TKO in rounds 2 or 3, and that is paying $3.76. The line has moved. Oh, it's now paying more. Oh, that's what I get, I suppose. Moving on to just the fourth fight on the main card. We have Dan the Hangman Hooker taking on Jarlin the Tarantula Turner. So Hooker, I think, has rarely ever fought someone taller than him. Both these guys being very, very tall for lightweight. and Hooker also fighting at featherweight. Dan might have fought someone around 6'3" in those few fights he fought at heavyweight back in New Zealand. I implore you to go and look up those fights. I can't remember the name of the promotion, but Dan fought at heavyweight in a promotion that had pride rules, so it's pretty much, and he'd fought at featherweight a couple weeks before, so it's pretty much like Dan skinny as a rake, like eating pies to try and make this weight, kicking a massive dude in the head, full pride rules. It's good stuff. Try and look that up. Both these guys, despite their range, love to stand in the pocket and trade, which will make for a very, very exciting fight. I think this one's going to be really good. I personally am going towards Jarlin by submission. I think they're going to brawl, they're going to hurt each other, as might go to the ground, and I think Jarlin's just so good at snapping up that submission. I think he's going to hurt him. He'll hurt and then he'll snap up that submission. I actually did take that bet and I got it at $3.50. Let's see if the line's changed on me now. Let's go Jarlin Turner by sub. But yeah, it could go either way with the brawling. Dan Hooker's been saying, he's turned a corner and he'll be blonde, he'll be full of tattoos, so could be the birth of a new mythical fighter. But yeah, see, I took that $3.50, so I actually got well in on that. Right, and then the curtain jerker for the main card, we have rising prospect Bo Nickel take on a guy that hasn't even got a photo yet, called Val Woodburn, who works part-time as a gardener in between UFC fights. He is 7-0 as a pro, but like this is on the regional circuit. It's a late replacement for his original opponent. I heard a rumor that that Val Woodburn is the biggest underdog that the UFC's ever had, or Bo being the biggest favorite. I'm not sure if that's true, but 104 to 1150, that is an absolute huge one. Someone out there, get out there and jump in on that line. I'm half tempted to myself. Would love to see this rising prospect just get crushed. That would be good. Then moving on to the prelims. These prelims are absolutely stacked. The feature prelim main event is Rowdy Robbie Lawler's retirement fight versus Nico Price. I quite like this matchup. Often they give legends leaving like just really poor matchups of some young guy to try and make a name who ends up taking them quickly. But although Lawler is a bit of an underdog here, they've picked a guy in Nico Price who loves to brawl and has been knocked out, so he's going to give Robbie the fight he wants and the fight that the fans want. So respectable pick. Definitely looking forward to that one. I don't know if I've taken a line on that one. We also have on the prelims good old Don Giacomo, Jack Della Maddalena versus late replacement for Sean Brady, Hosea Harrell, also pulled in from outside of the UFC in. JDM is probably one of my favourite fighters based on his fighting style at the moment. He's just so slick, so clean. Really, really looking forward to that one. Also, other good ones to note is a rematch between Jimmy Crute and Alonzo Minifield. These guys fought back in Perth back in February this year, and it came to a draw. Alonzo technically won on points, but he had a point deducted for repeated accidental groin strikes, but still a few groin strikes. You do have to take a point away from them eventually. So that should be a very interesting fight. Interestingly enough, even though Alonzo technically won the last one, he is an underdog going into it. So I've grabbed that line. I grabbed it at $2, but now it's at $2.10. So those are my bets. Hoping for as much luck as I had a couple of weeks ago, but we'll see. I might have just been 1 week of good luck, but get out there, chuck your money down. Good luck to everyone. Thanks for stopping in, and I will see you next time for UFC 291. Namahe.